This is lesson 3-6. This is the last lesson of the chapter. And it's adding and subtracting unlike fractions. The other day we did like fractions. This is unlike, means denominators are not the same. You are going to have to work on creating a denominator for all the fractions today. It's something you've done before. It should not be something new, but we will go over it, and I'll just give you some practice problems. So, my first slide is a little slow today. There we go. All right, so LCD, that is called the least common denominator. To be honest, you don't have to have the least common denominator to add and subtract fractions. You just have to have a common denominator. So don't think that you have to have the LCD. Just a common denominator is already sufficient. So if I look at 3/4 and 1/3, and I need to figure out a common denominator, there's a few different things that I can do. I have to look at what's below. I have 4 and I have 3. So what is something that goes into, or that 3 and 4 both go into? Okay, there's a few strategies that you can do. For one thing, you can look at them and you probably already know, like, what is something that 4 and 3 both go into? That's one strategy. Another strategy is multiplying them together. That will give you another common denominator. And then the other strategy is actually just making a list of all the multiples. So like 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3. And I did the same, 3, 6, 9, 12. And I can see that 12, they share 12, and that's another way you could find common denominators pretty easily. All right, so if I look at 4 and 3, I know that 12 is a common denominator for it. So I like to put 12 on the bottom. Then I say to myself, what times 4 gives me 12? And I know it's 3. So then I have to take the top numerator and I need to times that by 3 also. So this would be 9. What times 3 gives me 12? And I know that's 4, so I have to take 1 times 4 also. If I change the numerator or denominator, I have to change the numerator. There's no way around it. You have to do it. So easy way is just, like I said, put it below. You can make some arrows if you want, do whatever you need to do, but that is the easiest way. All right, so like I said, to add and subtract fractions, you must have common denominators. So I'm going to do this one over on the side here first. On the left side, I have 3/5 oops, 3, I was going to make this in the center. There we go. I have 3/5 minus 1/3. I know if I look at 5 and 3, a denominator I can use is 15 right off the bat. So 15 and 15. Then 5 times what gives me 15? I know that's 3, so I know I need to take this times 3 also. Okay, 3 times what gives me 15? I know that's 5, so I need to take this times 5 also, and that's going to give me my numerator. Now I can do my subtraction. 9 minus 5 is 4, and I get 4/15. If is it reducible, you can reduce at the end. If I look over at the side over here, I have 1/2 plus 7/22. If I look here, I know that I can use 22 as a common denominator. So all the time, not all the time you have to change both. There might be just one time that you have to change one of them. Sometimes that one side is a common denominator already, so that's really something to look for too. It'll make less work for you. So for example, I know 22 can be a common denominator, so I am not going to touch that, but I'm going to over here and I'm going to say, okay, well, how many times is 2? What times 2 gives me 22? And it's times 11. So I need to take this times 11 as well, and that can go on top. I can do my addition. I get 18 over 22, and then I can reduce by 2, it looks like, and I would get 9/11. So just making sure you have common denominators is the biggest thing. All right, so why don't you try a few of these by yourself? Go ahead and pause the video, just try a few of them, and then once you restart it back up, I will show you how to do them. Okay, if I look over here at the first one, I have 9/16 minus 1/8. I know I can use 16 as a denominator, so I'm going to keep this. I'm going to have to change this. 8 times what gives me 16? It's times 2, so I'm also going to times this by 2. 9 minus 2 is 7. 7/16 would be my answer. Same thing over here. If I look at 4 and 10, there's a lot of things I could use for denominator. Some people would say 40. 20 is also one you could use. Honestly, it does not matter what you use as long as you reduce. If you reduce, you'll get the same thing in the end. So for example, let's just say I use 40. Okay, so I know 40 times 10 is going to, 4 times 10 is going to give me 40, so I have to take this times 10. Okay, 10 times what's going to give me 40? I know that's times 4, so I have to take this times 4. Okay, here's my problem. I have 22 over 40, which is reducible by 2. Now, if you would have used 20 as a denominator, you wouldn't have to reduce at the end. So this would be 11 over 20. So if you do find the LCD, a lot of times it makes it easier for reducing at the end. But like I said, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you can only see one in your head, and I just want you to go with whatever you can see. All right, so adding and subtracting, unlike denominators with mixed numbers, okay, it's the same thing that I taught you the other day. There's two ways you can do it. You can line them up like this I have here, or you can make improper fractions. I kind of have it right here. Okay, I'm going to do way number 1 first. So 4 and 2, I know that 4 can be a common denominator. So 2 times what gives me 4 times 2, so I'm going to take this times 2. Now this can be canceled out, and then I can look at my fractions that are the same. So 3 times, or plus 2 would be 5/4, and then 12 plus 9 would be 21. Okay, now you see my problem. I cannot have a mixed number here. So let's make that a mixed number. I know that is 1 and 1/4. Come on, come on. It's taking a while. Come on. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to add these two together, and I would get 22 and 1/4. So it's just kind of what we talked about yesterday. The only thing that's different is the denominator part of it. If you wanted to make if you want to make improper fractions, you can do that also. But you still have to have a common denominator. So for example, let's do the improper fraction way. You still have to have common denominator, so you still have to do what I did first. Then you can make your improper fractions. Let's see, 9 times 4 would be 36, plus 2 would be, I'm doing this one, this would be 38 over 4. This up here, 12 times 4 would be 48, plus 3 would be 51 over 4. And then you can do your addition. So let's see, you have 9, it'd be 89 over 4, because I'm going to add these two together. And then my denominator stays the same, and then you got to make a mixed number. It goes in one. Oh, actually, it goes in twice. My bad. Goes in 2 times. So 22 and 1/4. Regardless of what way you do, they should both turn out to be the same. I'm not going to lie though, if you have negative ones, this is the easiest way. And you don't have to guess what you have to do. It'll literally tell you right in the problem. If you're adding two negatives, subtracting a positive and negative, whatever, that is the easiest way. So let's do some with a subtraction one. Now you can do whatever way you want. I'm probably going to stick with just doing my common denominator and then adding them or subtracting them like this. So I know 6 can be a common denominator. This is times 3. This would be times 3. Okay. Now I'm going to subtract. Now if I look at 2 minus 3, I cannot do it. I have to borrow. This is going to become a 10. Now when I take that 1, it's going to come over here and it's going to break into pieces. Now you know how many pieces it breaks into by looking at this denominator. Because what's happening is you're just taking a whole and you're breaking it into pieces so you can subtract. So now I have 8, 6. So I have 10 and 8, 6 minus 3 and 3, 6. So now I can do my subtraction. 10 minus 3 would be 7. If you did this with improper fractions, it would turn out to be the same answer. All right, watch out for those negatives again. Like I said, this is probably the worst part of today, are those darn negatives. So you're going to have to remember keep, change, change. Like this is an example over here. You have a negative and a subtraction. This is going to be keep, change, change. You just have to think of your cats and your dogs. So let's do this first one. So it's negative 5/8 plus negative 1/3. So we're going to change denominators. I know I can actually, yeah, 24. 24. So what times 8 gives me 24, and that's 3. So I'm going to take this times 3, so it's going to stay negative 15 over 24. What times 3 gives me 24? That'll be 8. So 1 times 8, this is what it looks like. Okay, now I'm just saying, okay, negative 15 plus negative 8 would be a negative 23 over 24. So think of your cats and your dogs for that one. All right, this one over on the side here. There we go. Okay, let's just do keep, change, change first. Okay, now I still have to change denominator, so this is going to have to be a 10 times 2, so 2 and 8, 10. So really, this is just an addition problem, which is really nice. So be 6 and 11/10. Can't have my improper fraction, not possible, so that's 1 and 1/10. And then I'm going to add these two together, 7 and 1/10. So, all right, let's do one more one that has a negative along with it. And I'm going to show you how the improper fraction way is probably the easiest way to do something like this. So, let's say I have negative 4 and 1/8 plus 2 and 1/4. Okay, so let me show you how the improper fraction way is the easiest way for this. First, got to change denominators. I know I can use 8, so this is going to be 2 and 2/8. Okay, plus negative 4 and 1/8. Now let's make improper fractions. So that's 32. So this would be 33 over 8, negative 33 over 8. Plus, this is going to be 16, so this is going to be 18 over 8. Now, it's really simple because I can just look at this and say, okay, negative 33 plus 18. Well, if I have 33 cats and 18 dogs, I can make 18 zero pairs, so I don't have cats left over. 15, I'm going to have negative 15 and 8, and then I'd make that into an improper fraction. Negative 1 and 7/8. Now you could do it the other way, but then you have to think to yourself, okay, I have negative 4 and 1/8 cats, I have 2 and 1/4 dogs, I can make 2 and 1/4 zero pairs. So really you would just subtract 4 and 1/8 minus 2 and 1/4. Your answer would be a negative answer because you're going to have cats left over. So you can decide which way you like the best, but you just got to be really, really careful with the negatives. So that's all I have for you today. If you have questions, let me know. Write them down in your notebook, and thank you so much for watching.